Sci-Fi.
Hey everybody, welcome to Real Life Sci-Fi with Wade and Willie. I'm Wade.
I'm Willie.
This is a podcast about the paranormal and contemporary mythology. Join us on patreon.com/reallifesci-fi for access to 2 bonus episodes a week, video feeds, and more. RealLifeSciFi.show is all of our links, and you can buy t-shirts and stuff. And I think we made about $2 on t-shirts in 10 years.
We make about $2 a year.
Our guest is standing up. He's wearing one. It's faded. It looks like shit. Let's welcome aboard the SSRLSF. It's our new friend, a Chinese video game translator and #1 fan, Jack Mob King. What up, Jack?
Hello. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. It feels so weird to be on the other side of this conversation.
Thanks for being here.
For a long time, when we used to read mail, because it was always your mail.
Yep. Same
Yeah.
with the Discord. It's just me talking to myself in the Discord. Yep, that's me.
Is it really? God, I feel so bad about that, dude. I need to get on there, but I just I don't have alerts set for it, and I don't know.
Nah,
I'm
it's
gonna
a
get
community. It's good.
You're a Chinese video game translator.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you went to China, what did you say? You lived there for 10 years?
So I'm from New Zealand, first of all. It's a New Zealand accent, not an Australian accent. And I studied Chinese here, and then I went over there and studied some more. I did the Beijing Olympics, so I've seen heaps of Olympics. I was there and saw a heap of events. I saw the Dream Team. I saw, Kobe.
Wow.
I saw that match against China.
Did you
And
really?
then, yeah, I saw I worked at the Shanghai Wood Expo as well. And then after that, I got into translating video games. Well, I worked in aviation for a couple of years as well, Chinese aviation, and then Chinese video game translation stuff. Well, it's localization. I know my boy is Kizafreak, and Kevin Day will understand localization. It's a little bit more than translation. And I left China, came back to New Zealand, and I was lucky enough to be able to bring back some of those contracts, some of those, gigs I was
Cool.
doing, and work remotely. So yeah, I'm a stay-at-home dad like Willie, and then at nighttime, by nights, I do my video game stuff.
Wow, that's awesome.
Can I ask you a
What
couple
else?
dumb questions real quick?
Yeah, sure.
This probably should be for the more, but I just got to have a couple. Tell me if these phrases are New Zealand or Australian or both.
Yep. Go.
Good on ya.
Good on you. Yeah, both. Good on you. Yeah.
Bob's your uncle.
That's
These are
English.
sort of-
That's
they're sort of
neither. That's
Commonwealth.
British.
Nah, they're Commonwealth. You say, yeah, Bob's your uncle. We'll say a lot of English slang as well. Budgie
I
smugglers.
can't think of any more. I don't want to waste too much
We could
time.
do it in
Budgie
the more. We'll
smugglers,
do it in the more.
That sounds like a both of you thing, right?
Yeah, no, we've got a lot of shared lingo. It's called the Antipodes or Australasia. So, but we also have like this big brother, little brother thing going on, like Canada and you. So, love-hate relationship.
Yeah, I love
Right.
Canada. I can't believe how normal it is to hate Canada. I'm like, who started this? Because they're great.
Ah, fuck those guys. Not just kidding.
Are you super proud of Tiki Watiki?
Taika
Wataki
Waititi. Taika Waititi. So actually, I'm kind of a hater of him, to be honest.
Oh no.
There's like an old school Kickstarter, and like he just didn't, he just got famous and then didn't go back and pay everyone back with his stuff. It's kind of like, I hope I'm not talking out of school or however you guys say it, but yeah, there's like a little bit of a conspiracy there.
What was
Yeah,
this Kickstarter for? Just a short he was doing?
It was like, give me all this money. There's an old movie called Eagle versus Shark that I recommend. That's probably my favorite one of his. Yeah, the first one he did. And I don't know, just if you go to the Kickstarter page, like there's a whole lot of people going, "Help! It's been 5 years. Please, I just want to play. I just want my signature." And they're apparently not getting them. So maybe he stumped up, or maybe he's kind of yeah,
Oh,
there's
boy.
most people are proud of him, sure, but I know there's a lot of tall poppy syndrome in New Zealand, and a lot of people think he's too big for his boots and shit.
Oh,
I'm more of a Sam Neill guy. I'm team Sam Neill all the way, yeah.
wait, who's Sam Neill?
Sam Neill is the bad guy in Event Horizon.
Is he
You'll
just an
know-
actor?
Wasn't he
Yeah,
in
you'll
Jurassic
know.
Park?
Yeah, Jurassic Park guy, yeah.
Oh,
sure.
Sam
Yeah.
Neill. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, what about the Flight of the Conchords?
Yeah, they're awesome. They're awesome. Russell Crowe, he's a Kiwi, but Aussies will claim him and shit. Flight of the Conchords, they're hilarious. Yeah, sure.
What about
mean,
that
and then-
that new guy? I can't think of his name. He had a little tiny fake detective show, cheesy in a fun way. He was kind of like
It's Wellington Paranormal, because that was a spin-off. They have like you guys should check it out. It's called Wellington Paranormal, and it's kind of like this, but really dorky and Flight of the Conchords style. And they're just cops in New Zealand finding paranormal shit. Honestly, yeah, you guys should write that up
Who's
first.
it?
He was
Who's in
there.
that?
It's the spin-off from Flight of the Conchords or something like that. Check it
The
out.
guy
I'll
I'm
send you
thinking
guys a
of
link.
was their manager. What's his name?
Reese Darby. Yeah.
Reese Darby. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love him. I think he's so great.
Yeah.
He's who I do an impression of when I try to do a New Zealand accent.
Sure.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Bro, is that you? Is that my own brother that I'm talking to right now? Holy shit.
But then, were you there during Lord of the Rings or not?
Yeah, sure. Yep. That was like, I think 2000 or so. There were always
Around
these
there.
rumors. Oh, Elijah Wood's here. Liv Tyler got kicked out of this, or she got carded at this club. Oh my God. And they didn't know it was Liv Tyler. Those were like golden days of living in New Zealand, to be honest. Yeah.
I feel like it's all Peter Jackson is
Yeah,
responsible for
it
all
is.
these guys, right? I mean,
Yeah. So, and James Cameron has a mansion here as well. Like in the tiny town that I live in, there's like 1,000 people. Peter Jackson's up the road. James Cameron's there as well. And there's like they fly like Spitfire airplanes over rural New Zealand for fun on the weekend. It's fucking insane.
really.
Just
So
having
they're
these
gonna
billionaires
die.
around.
Like they're gonna
I
be
don't.
the headlines the next because that's what Harrison Ford does, but he crashes all the time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you
And they're
wave
not
really hard at them?
biplanes or anything. They're like,
Hey, hey.
Yeah, I mean,
Oi.
nah, I don't know. Like it was kind of weird. Like during COVID, they pulled up their emotion there, and it was like, "Hey guys, we got COVID," and he's got massive, crazy vegetarian vegan farms here, and we were like, "Hey, have you want to trade food?" And it was just kind of silent and weird, and it was like, "Oh, you're actually executing your end of the world plan right now. This is your plan for us. Okay, see you later,
Oh,
mate. Whatever." It's kind of weird.
yeah.
which guy has the farms? Peter Jackson.
James Cameron.
Oh, really?
Showed
Yeah,
his
Mike James
cards
Cameron.
by just shutting
Yeah.
out the village he
Yeah.
bought.
Yeah, hope I don't get you guys put on a blacklist or anything for this. Yeah.
We're not big enough for James Cameron to notice. he's a he's like the number one dude.
That guy's a dirty Canadian, isn't he?
I don't actually know, is he?
Yeah, pretty sure.
That explains a lot. Well, how into I don't want to just jump into the scale, but like
Yeah.
how into like paranormal and stuff are you in general?
Well, I mean, I grew up being, into sort of like the older brother stoner conspiracy theory shit. Just having fun with it, kind of in a willy way, I guess. And then everything got, stupid and scary
Yeah.
around QAnon times. So I'm not so much into the ghost sort of aspect of it. I can't remember if that's on the news scale or not.
No, that's
But,
still on there. Should we
okay.
just jump in? Let's
Let's
just
go.
jump
Let's
into
do it.
it.
I'm so ready.
Wow scale. The WOW scale stands for WadeandWilly. It's a 5-question quiz. At the end of the quiz, I'll give you a score anywhere between 0 and 5. If you're more of a 0, you're more of a Wade. If you're more of a 5, you're more of a Willy. You ready to be Wade on the WOW scale?
Born ready.
First question, 3-parter. Do you believe in aliens? If so, have they visited Earth? If so, have they visited Earth in 300 years?
So yes, no. I'm just going to be this like, why 300 years? It's so anthropomorphic and like narcissistic. I think they came here 10 million years ago, and I think time does not exist, and they can come here whenever they want.
So, well, do you think they're still coming here?
Well, I mean, like they exist outside of time, kind of thing. Like I personally have seen UFO, and when I was a teenager, just there's really clear skies here, and you can see millions and millions of stars and Milky Way shit going on because there's not a lot of light pollution. And there was just this one star; it was just buzzing around like the locus of a fly, just like. And I could tell it was at least kilometers away, and it was doing massive, right angle corners and almost like a fly up in the sky, just buzzing around. And satellites can't do that. And we just watched it for a while and agreed, like, holy shit, what the fuck was that? And yep, it was a pretty spiritual experience when you're 16 years old.
And then you started smoking weed after that?
Well, technically, we were tripping on LSD, but I mean, we were also,
Gotcha.
we were like, yeah,
Gotcha.
I know, but it was yeah, we were experienced though. It was probably did a bit too much, but yeah, it was like, hey, no, and we had a few little rubrics and little things. Okay, we are here. Let's test this. Can you see that? And somebody who wasn't high saw it as well. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to put you down for all 3 then. You don't believe
man.
in time. It's like a more advanced version.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with all 3. I do think that they're outside of time too. But
You guys watch the Wolverine versus Deadpool yet?
Haven't seen it.
not
No,
yet.
I'm not a big MCU guy.
I watched a pirated version, and so I couldn't understand any of the dialogue because it's from the
Oh,
theater.
yeah. I read all the comics, so it's kind of fucking ruined, you know, because I'm a comic book nerd.
Your heart's been broken too many times.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I thought the comic book people were into it. You're not into it, huh?
I'm too cool for that shit.
It's too dark.
I don't know about that.
Oh
All right,
man, the
question number
zingers.
2. Ghosts.
No, I'm not a ghost guy, and I
Do they
think
have ghosts in
yeah,
Oceania? I'm gonna call it Oceania now.
Oceania. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's like a Maori culture here. Actually, I should probably mihi whakato for about 10 seconds. Ko rimutaka te maunga rine taka ngākau ko tauwhiri ki te awe mahi ne aku mahara no Jack a ho no Jack patu moka a ho e mihi ana ki ngā tohu o nehi o e noho
Willie,
nei
he's
au.
summoning
No
spirits.
reira tēnā koutou katoa. So
Willie's summoning
when
spirits.
when I
Huh?
when you meet somebody, you sort of say like, "Hey, where you're from, and this is my magic mountain, and this is my river and stuff." And it's just like we should get to know each other when we meet and stuff, and then you can be, "Oh, I know you, I know your cousin and stuff." I just like to get that out of the way before I talk shit about Maori culture because I'm not actually a Maori person, and any New Zealander listening to this would call me out massively. But yeah, there's like some cool Maori spirits and stuff. There's a different conception of death and dealing with it, and your ancestors are the land and the rivers around you and things like
Are you
that.
saying Maori? M-A?
Yes, yeah,
Because
it's
I would say
pronounced
Maori.
Mau. Yep, yep,
Maori. Okay.
Maori. So it's almost
Maori.
like I've got Maori curtains or something. Maori, yeah.
Okay.
So that's the native people. And no, I personally don't believe in ghosts. I haven't seen any ghosts or experienced like poltergeists or that kind of paranormal phenomena. And I think it's more like the aliens and how time doesn't exist and colors don't exist. And I just think that there are different spectra and different, I guess, dimensions like smell and things, and that we can't even imagine. That sort of blink in and out. We can gain sort of like a faint perception of them without knowing what they are, and that people mistake them for ghosts.
I'm still caught up on the thing that you did
Yeah,
where you were
okay.
introducing yourself. So what did you say? What?
So I was just saying that my mountain that speaks to me is Rimataka Mountain and the river. It's not mine because I'm not Maori, but I have an affinity, and this is where I am. And if you know where someone's from, then you might know their family or some things about them, and it's a way to make a connection. It's called whakapapa. It sounds like a swear word. And
Yeah, sounds
so
great.
so like if you just come to me and go, I am Wade of the family Randolph, and I come from the mountain of Colorado, and it's sort of like that thing. And when you say that
Okay.
and you declare where you're from, then you sort of know a bit more. Oh, I know this guy, or maybe
So
this guy's a dodgy Canadian. I don't know, And so it's a basis for all interaction and for like exchange.
and you know how to speak that language, or you just know how to introduce yourself in that language?
Yeah, good question. I know a few hundred words, but everyone here will know how to do that. Or most New Zealanders will know how to do that pepeha or mihi whakato, and it's just a basic greeting.
Interesting. I've never heard of that.
If you go to Sedona, they
Yeah.
introduce themselves by saying what alien race they are or what star they're from.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
do?
Because they're all star children.
Star
They're all
seeds?
Yeah.
Star seeds, yeah.
I'm from Zeta Reticuli.
Are you making fun of Willie, or are you into that stuff?
That is a deep cut, my bro. Zeta Reticuli is a deep cut.
Like I get it. Like Benny and Barney Hill, Barney
Yeah,
Hill.
exactly. There you go. There you go. There you go.
Okay, third question. Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna I mean, just cryptids in general. Yes. So why not? Why not Bigfoot?
What's your favorite local cryptid?
Holy shit. Oh my God. There are these little fairies here. I forget their name, but I'm gonna say the Waiuru Goat Man. There's a mysterious goat man, and he lives near the army base here, and he's probably almost certainly a hoax just to trick rookie soldiers. But yeah,
stay
just
away
this
from the
goat
base.
man.
Also, like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you guys have Yowies also, or is that just Australia?
Australia.
Yowie is
What's
the
a
Australian Australian Bigfoot.
Oh, got it.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. And so you say like the Chinese one is pronounced Yerin. It's pronounced Yerin.
Yeren, yeah.
Yerin. Yeah. Sorry.
And that's a Bigfoot also?
Yeah. Maybe
They're
Willie
kind
was
of
saying it differently.
they're more red hair, but in Big Trouble in Little China, that creature is supposed to be the Yaren.
Mhm.
God, I forgot about that thing. That was the worst part of the movie. All right, fourth question. Illuminati. This is new. This is newer. And it's kind of up to you to define what you
Um,
mean.
Beyonce does not have a phone call, hey Beyonce, we've got some notes on the new album. Can you do this, please? I just can't see it being that coordinated. I mean, there is a realm, I suppose, of possibility where somebody is influencing people and sprinkling it into their cornflakes without them knowing, so that they shift and nudge these people to make certain metaphors and imagery. I suppose that could be possible. In fact, that sounds almost like a supervillain team or something. Haha, brainwash these guys. But I don't think that they all have a meeting, and I don't think they all, have each other on speed dial.
The multiverse.
No multiverse, no multiverse. Like,
But you just talked about how spiritual
I don't think
different
there's
planes
infinite.
of existence,
Yeah,
but not different multiverses.
but I don't know. I think that, there's a world in which we're all snakes, haha, and there's a world in which my name's Wade and your name's Jack. Like those tiny little sort of. I know it's great to be a writer and to be able to think about that as like a narrative tool, but I just think that's kind of dumb. I don't think it works like that. I think there's more than one dimension for sure, and there's 113 dimensions or whatever probably. But the way that it exists, we can't really conceive of it. So I'm not sure that there's infinite multiple.
To just boil it down to the essence of the question is like, you don't believe in like the guy who was in
Everything.
jail.
Mandela effect.
Yes.
Nah, so like I think that's just straight up like racism. The guy's name was Stephen Biko. Like there was another black dude who was in jail, and people confused him with Mandela. His name's Stephen Biko. Yeah, it's like, oh my God, black people are like, I honestly think that yeah, look up Stephen Biko, bro. Yeah. So I don't believe in the Mandela
I haven't
effect.
heard that before. That's
I
interesting.
haven't heard that either. That's hilarious. That's what Trump just did. He said he was on a helicopter that almost went down, and he named the wrong black guy.
Yeah, sure.
The guy he was on the helicopter with. Like an idiot. First of all, that's every white guy's like nightmare, is confusing two black people. To do it so publicly. Ugh.
I love that you said that. You weren't saying this specifically, but if there is a multiverse, there's no way that we can define it or really even observe it or experience it. But the thing that I like the most of recent is that it's not like every different version of you is out there. It's just you can shift into the best version. So like you vibrationally move through the multiverse based on how you react to your environment. So try to be the best you. You can't jump into another universe, but the universe shifts around you. I thought it's just an interesting way to think of something that we also can't define.
That's a whole fucking can of worms thinking about that. I don't want to get into it, but I have thoughts. So, Jack, you're a 2. Does that surprise you?
It kind of does surprise me a bit, but also I'm a bit of a polemicist, or just making conversation. So yeah, and my opinions might change. Yeah.
I wonder what you would have been on the old one. Psychics?
No way.
What is that? Superstitious.
Yeah. So, but that's like believe in that.
That would have put you down to a 1, actually. So 2's right.
Right. Yeah. But then simulation. No.
Oh, that's what the S was. It used to be superstitious. Now it's simulation, or then it was simulation. What simulation you say no?
Oh, well, like I think there is a simulation, but it's more like we're a piece of shit in the corner. We're not actually being actively monitored or anything. It's like we're an accident that happened to grow out of the fucking trash of somebody else.
Well, that puts you down to a 1 also. So
right,
2 is generous for you.
Oh, okay, cool. Holy shit. Okay. My mind has been blown. Oh my God. I thought it was Team Willie. I'm Team Wade. Holy shit.
Yeah, right. Welcome to the team.
Yeah.
All right, Willie, hit us with the topic.
Tonight on Real Life Sci-Fi, could there be an alien base in Antarctica? Hidden beneath the icy expanse of Antarctica lies an enigmatic alien base concealed from human eyes for millennia. Maybe. This advanced facility, teeming with otherworldly technology, hums with a mysterious energy that disrupts conventional scientific understanding. Its discovery sparks a global race to uncover the secrets of the cosmos, forever altering humanity's perception of its place in the universe. Or it doesn't exist. Find out tonight on Real Life Sci-Fi.
Okay, so I worked on a whaling show for a little bit. Not Greenpeace, but like 15, 20 years ago. There's this one guy, and I think he just went to jail. I think he just locked
Oh,
up.
yeah, I know him.
They
Yeah,
were
I know
kind
the
of
one.
like militant, and I
Yeah,
think
what's
he's
his name again?
Canadian also. I don't
The Sea
remember.
Shepherd, the Sea Shepherd, right?
Yes. They would go around and they would around your
Yeah,
area and they would like bust the Japanese
yeah,
whaling boats.
yeah,
They would do like militant shit. They would like hop on board and whatever the chaining yourself to the bulldozer version of
yeah,
boats is what they would do.
yeah. Eco-terrorism.
And so you would get down into Antarctica, and it was like, I don't know if you can walk me through on who owns those waters, but like, isn't it like kind of a pie or something? You draw like a line, and then whatever's closest.
Yes. The Antarctic Treaty was signed in 1959. There's 54 countries right now that are a part of the treaty, but basically they split up. No one could like own it or have military activity or nuclear testing or
Yeah.
mineral mining. All they could do is have scientific research there, and they've got to protect the ecosystem. So they did divide the continent up into where you could have your base, but you also don't own that land. So
Nobody owns any part of Antarctica.
yeah,
It's a
You
little
just
bit Wild
have like,
West. Yeah. There's
you kind of
McMurdo
have
Base.
your base
Yeah.
and you kind of own the territory around your base, but it's so fucking cold there and frozen that like you can't even keep a road for a year. Like you're just on ice.
There's a small New Zealand base called the Scott base. It's very close to the American one. It's called McMurdo, I think. It's more like a sort of a village, the size of the village I'm in right now. But there was a really good horror movie. I didn't see all of it. It was shot down in, I think it was in Antarctica, and
Oh, really?
it's just really just creepy. And yeah, this is just a lot of the people and supplies. The last stop before you go to Antarctica is you leave Christchurch, well, New Zealand, or I think maybe Patagonia in Argentina sort of ways. And so we have an Antarctic museum here, and we have a really strong affinity with Antarctica in New Zealand. The guy who first climbed Mount Everest is Sir Edmund Hillary. He's a New Zealander, and he after he finished that, he was like, "Fuck it, I'm just going to take a tractor and drive to the South Pole." And he built this massive bulldozer tractor, and he just rode it to the fucking South Pole. And
Wow.
it's the most epic adventure that you've never heard of. But it's just a big piece of ice, and nobody really knows what the fuck's going on down there. But it's kind of like the Wild West. Everyone's trying to stake their claim a little bit. There's a lot of Chinese sort of stuff going on there as well.
They think that the land has been covered in ice for millions upon millions of years. There's different versions of that out there right now, but
is there actually land?
yeah. Some areas are covered by 3 miles of ice, some areas a mile, some just barely. And so there are rivers and lakes underneath the ice, and there's active volcanoes. One of the most active volcanoes is in Antarctica. Underneath this huge giant ice shelf, there are rivers and lakes, and they find these big open areas underneath the ice where it's just like, you get all this volcanic heat, but it can't melt through the ice. So then you'll get like gigantic city size warm areas underneath the ice.
Yeah.
And so when you see those holes throughout especially in the last 20 years, there have been people looking at Antarctica on all these different maps and stuff. And there's fucking gigantic holes everywhere. Some people are like, oh, those are alien bases. Oh, that's the open hole to the South Pole entrance to the inner Earth. And it's like, oh, it could be these giant wells of heat that have finally melted through and the ice broke. So, and they actually don't know anything about a lot of it because there aren't people there to explore it. It's so cold. You can't just fly over.
Why would you explore it? You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to find? It's ice.
In the realm of there being an alien base there, some people think that over the last about 4,000 years ago, 4,000 BC, it could have been warm there because of these gigantic warm spots underneath the ice. Some people think that there are pyramids that could have been built about the same time as either when the pyramids were built or when other people think the pyramids were built about 12,000 years ago. Here's the thing.
Or energy as well. There could be energy under the ice, maybe not, oil and petroleum, but some kind of alternate energy that's, that has yet to be
And
discovered.
I'm glad you said that, because in
Wait,
2018,
like a new fossil fuel that we don't know about,
Yeah,
or something
potentially a new,
completely different?
flammable ice or some kind of new shit. Yeah.
in 2018, they observed cosmic rays coming from the South Pole. And even Miku Kaku has talked about this. This is a real legitimate thing where cosmic rays are coming from the South Pole.
Refresh my memory on that guy.
He's like one of the most famous physicists out there. He's very credible. There should not be cosmic rays coming from the South Pole.
Cosmic rays meaning what exactly?
It's like a lepton or a quark, or just some kind of funky particle. It just like they've been bombarded down there, and the ice captures them, or something like that, because there's a concentration of magnetic field there, or because there's heavy ice there, and the climate's different. Something about being there makes it good at capturing this particle. Is that right, Willie?
and we don't know anything, and so some people are like, it's coming from the ice. Oh, maybe it's coming from the North Pole and getting shot out the South Pole. And some of my ideas.
Last question: can you see it, or is this all on readings?
These are like
okay.
Like neutrinos constantly go through us, just like little tiny particles.
We got it.
And but they installed these particle receptors or particle identifiers down there, I don't know, to try to observe this stuff. And that's where like, oh shit, this doesn't match what we believe about physics. And so a couple of ideas I have, I don't know if anybody's put this out there, just what me pondering that, like, oh yeah, I do like the idea of maybe coming through the North Pole, getting sucked into our polar shit and getting shot out the South Pole. One idea is in the realm of there is an alien base down there. Maybe there is a portal down there, and it's coming from the portal being opened. So the cosmic rays are coming from other universes or other dimensions, wherever the portal opens up to. Because if there is an alien base in Antarctica, this doesn't have to be hand in hand, but there could be portals, because the whistleblowers that have come forward.
Well, hang on,
about
before you
the
get to
alien base. Yeah.
If there is an alien base there, is there more UAP, UFO sort of like sightings in the southern hemisphere or not?
There isn't a way to really record UFO sightings.
Right.
The National Reporting Center. No one in Antarctica is calling the National UFO Reporting Center.
Aliens only want to go to America, Wade.
Well, perfectly well said. Well said.
It's true because of our nukes. I mean, that's the narrative, right? But you said you saw
those were
one.
Those were all tested in the South Pacific in a place called Mururoa Atoll. There's been nuclear. That's where the French tested all of their nukes.
Where?
Mururoa Atoll in the South Pacific. It's
that's
quite close.
That's just the name of it. Yeah. And so Bikini Atoll, whatever. That's why SpongeBob is Bikini Bottom, because like
Solomon
supposedly
Islands.
they are. The show was written below where they tested nuclear shit, and that's why they're all
really
fucked up creatures. Yeah.
But Antarctica, there's a lot of like sciencey shit that goes down there, like the Amundsen base or whatever. It's, you guys play Civ, right? Wait, it's one of the world wonders in Civ. Yeah, it's maybe it's in one of the DLC packs that you don't have, but there's the Amundsen ice base, and they do these big deep drills. They drill like 1 or 2 kilometers down, and they pull out these ice core samples, and they go, okay, this is what life was like. And you can tell all kinds of weird information about fucking miles away in time and in distance just by pulling out these core samples from Antarctica. And who knows what really lies within.
Speaking of those samples, every area is different where you would get a sample for, but there was this one group from like 2017, 2018. They used a different type of core pulling sample. 2017, they took an ice core. I don't know, I forget who. They had more than 60 different types of plants in their one core, which is like rainforest shit. I don't know how thick the core sample was, but that's just unheard of. You wouldn't expect plants really, but then to have 60 different ones, that basically says that area of Antarctica was definitely in a tropical zone. So what they say right now is that Antarctica, Pangea, whatever, may have been north, but it took millions of years to get to where it's at, the accepted science of it now. And
that just makes me wonder, how you can count how old a tree is by the rings. I don't know if that's true or not, but do they have a way to know how far in the past they're going based on how far they drilled out?
Not fully, because then you have to go explore that area and then identify the level of that. But to find 60 different types of plants, that core drilling thing couldn't have been extremely deep. So like, it's definitely like,
I know.
it doesn't
I was,
match our history.
oh,
Yeah, I heard
okay.
10 million years. I heard 10. I mean, surely it'd only go back as far as there was ice there, right? And so I heard some conservatives say like, oh, it's been icy for 10 million years, not 4,000 or whatever. But we really cannot imagine what 1 million years is. And within a million years, civilizations come and go and come and go and come and go
Yeah,
1,000
sure,
times
sure.
over, And so,
And then with that
yeah.
too, there's always some fringe scientists that like everybody laughs at or doesn't believe. There's one guy that's like, there could be continental shifts that happen very quickly because we are just sitting on an ocean of lava. And so we think everything is slow, but there could be an event to make something shift real hard. And there was a guy who thought that,
Yeah.
Antarctica shifted very quickly.
Well, let's
And
go back to the portals, because you said there could be portals there, but you were about to say something about the whistleblowers.
So we don't have a military base down there, but we have military presence that shows up. I know, right? I think that we do, but McMurdo definitely has a bunch of military going in and out of it. There have been at least 4 whistleblowers that have gone to Antarctica and claim that they have either seen this hexagonal base that's like really big, the outside of it, or a few of them have gone inside of it, and they talk about what they saw inside.
It's an American base?
It is an alien base.
Oh,
uncovered on the ice. So it's like black, and there's like a door that was like 18 feet high and 30 feet thick or something like that. And you could just touch it and it just opened up, and they didn't have classic hinges or anything. When they walked inside, so this guy was a Navy SEAL, and his job was to extract someone who was taking pictures of this alien base. So this guy has a lot of information coming from different sources that isn't from one whole experience. This Navy SEAL team was hired to extract someone who took pictures of everything in the base. He went in the base to get them. This room was like 9 acres big, and the walls glowed like green. They couldn't identify the light source, but it looked like the light was coming from like either underneath the wall or through the wall, whatever. And there were something like hieroglyphs on the walls, and each door had 2 symbols on it. One of them being that looked like a star map, where it was just like, I mean, it looked like the Betty and Barney Hill map of Zeta Reticuli, which is weird, where there were dots with like lines to them. And then up in the corner, there was some kind of triangle with a couple lines on it. And then a circle with all these different lines on it. It looked like the black star that the SS started using. This guy was identified as Spartan 1. He said that there was a ramp that went underneath the ice to 2 more structures about 2 miles deep. There were 3 hexagonal alien bases all on top of each other.
it just seems way too much like something you would see in a movie. It sounds too good to be true.
When you go through trauma, when you experience something that can't be processed, you sort of, your brain, to cope, it throws all of these, narrative tools around it. Oh, these are the good guys, these are the bad guys, something happened to me, and so it might not be an accurate depiction of what happened, but it could be somebody fitting it into, if you see like 12th dimensional aliens that telepathically, rinse through your brain, you might go, oh, that looked like a ghost. Oh, that looked like this. I can sort of, my flexibility of mind, I suppose, allows me to, it reminds me a bit of sort of the Valiant Thor story. It's kind of a little bit sort of campy.
What's the Valiant Thor story?
An alien that came and started working with the government.
Yeah. Again, it's like a movie that was written by a child or something, but that's why I got those vibes. But there's also a whole Nazi aspect to the Antarctic science, right, Willie?
Well, and so this is the weird thing. I we'll get into the Nazi stuff in a little bit, because like as soon as you bring in all these things, it's just kind of like, so here we have whistleblowers coming forward to be like, there's some fucking shit down there, and they're not talking about it, and I feel like it's my duty to tell humans that there's other shit.
Yeah.
And so this is why I love these stories. We've got 4 different people with 4 different, very different stories. Okay. We've talked about Admiral Byrd before. He was in World War I. He then turned into a explorer. the government paid him to fly over the North Pole. Then he flew over the South Pole. And then they made him Rear Admiral General, or Rear Admiral, youngest person to be an admiral. And they sent him with a whole fleet to Antarctica in, was it 1957? I gotta find this. Anyways, they were supposed to have this 4 or 5 month expedition. They came back early with one less destroyer. The stories about Admiral Byrd flying over the South Pole, flying into a hole. We did an episode on this, and then people landed his ship and he interacted with them. City made out of crystals. This was all from his diary that his son uncovered. Wasn't in the official account, whatever. A lot of crazy conspiracy and all this stuff. But they definitely did send a whole fleet down there, and they came back with one less destroyer, which is crazy.
And no one asked, where's that destroyer?
There's no official story of what happened to it.
And it's Bird with a Y, BYRD.
Yeah,
if you're at home and you're Googling this. Yep.
So we could tie it to the Nazis. Maybe the Nazis attacked, right?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
and that's the thing, is that like so the Nazis before the war, Hitler was running around trying to find information from
all the Indiana Jones stuff,
ancient stuff. Yeah, for sure. And supposedly he had the Vril Society. This one lady would contact and connect with different alien races. Some people think through different times, but they basically told him to go to the south, to Antarctica, and they definitely sent a bunch of supplies there. There was a guy on record saying that, like, talking about New Schwabia, that they found a place underneath the ice, and so some people think that they may have taken a submarine below the continent and found one of these big giant open areas that was warm, city-size area. To the crazy part of the story is that they interacted with the aliens that the Vril Society met with. When Admiral Byrd showed up, they were using UFOs they like sunk a ship in a few seconds and they turned around. But with all that, though, that was a couple years before. Let's see, trying to look at the dates, because the Antarctic Treaty was signed in 1959.
Yeah.
And Admiral Byrd, Operation High Jump happened in 46, 47.
Yeah.
12 years before that treaty. I'm just trying to connect factual things, because, a lot of this stuff just is on that deep, crazy side of why would anybody believe anything we're talking about.
Yeah, that's all really recent. It really is like the final frontier, like the bottom of the ocean. Nobody knows what the fuck is down there. Nobody's looked. We went out into space before we did that. Same with Antarctica. It's really quite inhospitable. It's here on planet Earth, and there's a whole lot of science down there, but there's still all of these question marks.
What's the story though with Hillary? Is that like a documented trek that he did?
Like he just, I don't know, it's just like he built up, they call it a tractor, but it's kind of more like a bulldozer, and he's like, right, I'm gonna fucking do this, and he just did it from the coast to the South Pole. It's like, why can't you do that anymore? It's a few questions come up from that, I suppose. But he's sort of like a national hero, and we learn about him at school.
Did he report back about anything weird, or was it just like, it's snow, it's very snowy?
No, I don't think he saw any aliens or anything, but it's just, it really captures my mind. Like, you could just do that, I suppose. Yeah,
it can get to like I think a minus 130 degrees. So like there was this one whistleblower who came forward. His name was Brian, and he was a Navy flight engineer. He flew with the Antarctic Development Squadron from 83 to 97. He saw a silver disc flying over the Transarctic Mountains. They were supposed to go rescue this research team that disappeared. And so they were supposed to fly over this no-fly zone. The rescue team was not there. The rescue team showed up 2 weeks later. And he was saying that, like, there's nothing out there. So for a science team to be missing for 2 weeks, they should be dead. So when they finally did show up.
Well, hang on. I think you transposed something there. He was the rescue team.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Looking for the science
team. The research team. The research team.
Okay. The research team was not there.
They were missing for 2 weeks. And then one day they're like, hey, they're there. So they went, picked them up. When they were flying over this no-fly zone, they saw this big, giant, like, depression that had a huge hole in it. And when they picked up these researchers, they were all scared. They didn't even grab their shit. So he's like, well, we had to go grab all the shit because they just jumped on the plane and they were like scared. some kind of trauma, whatever. When they dropped them off, those people got picked up right away. And then they got debriefed by military being like, you can't ever talk about what you saw. He's like, well, we didn't see anything. We just saw a big hole in the ground.
Yeah.
So that was one story.
That was the Men in Black part. Yeah.
Let's see. There was another guy who talked about seeing these UFOs, that these discs that would he saw a fleet of them in Antarctica. And then one basically zipped over to another mountain, which was so far away that we couldn't have zipped like that. And then the next one went zipped over, zip, zip, zip. And then they all disappeared. So this is just like a UFO sighting. So in the realm of UFOs and UAPs, a lot of people have observed them flying into water and flying out of water without the water affecting them. And, I've mentioned this before. There was this tribe that they were shown a picture of UFO and was like, oh, those are the ant people. They live underground. If there were aliens here, and whether they were from here or not, there could be a resource here that they could get without alerting us or talking to us about. If they could go into water without adjusting their speed, or, it makes sense to me that they would have a base in Antarctica because we aren't there. It's like, where could you go to avoid us? Pacific Ocean, Antarctica. But I want to bring up this guy, Spartan 1, and there's also Spartan 2, and I forget which one talked about this story, but you know what a moon door is? Is that what it's called? In a submarine, you can go into the ocean from a submarine, and the water's not going to come into the submarine inside this alien base that he was in. It felt like a moon door, but it was vertical, and it had a square shape instead of a circle, and you could walk through it, and there were portals that would instantly take you to. He said it looked like Stargate, but when you stepped through it, you just stepped into where the portal was going through. So he was like, oh, there was one in Alaska that took you straight to Hawaii. And there were a couple that went to Antarctica. The map on the door, they all had one starting point, which he thought was like the Milky Way. And then each one was just like a different door that took you different places. And so he was saying that each door told you where the portal took you to based on the map, but he couldn't translate the map because it was just a bunch of dots with lines connected to them. But he was saying that aliens look just like humans, and that they were, maybe some governments were working with them, but the governments was basically the coalition of the Antarctic Treaty.
It's basically like a Stargate, right? Like the moon pole.
Yeah.
Did he go through?
He did not. All of his stuff is he witnessed the base, but then heard a bunch of stories from friends of his that were also in the realm of secrecy, either Navy SEALs or worked with.
Well, that pisses me off, because if that exists, that sucks. Because what are we're still using planes? We couldn't sell that to some company, and now we don't have to be on planes anymore.
Yeah, right. Here's something that was laid out, maybe by them or maybe by their interviewer. This was a Linda Moulton Howe thing. His main contact worked with Cyber Command. Cyber Command basically, I think, is above all of the military branches. But he claimed that the U.S. has communicated beyond our solar system with advanced humanoid intelligences, and that they have been interstellarly trading. In the fall of 2017, that Oumuamua, that meteor thing that was elongated,
the gas cigar thing,
that thing was a derelict ship, and that they actually, we if you believe in the secret space force, that we actually jumped onto it. At any rate, that's in the crazy realm. Back to the real world. In 2018, the Harvard chairman of astronomy, forgot his first name, his last name is Loeb, he was saying that this must have been a fully operational probe, because I forget the numbers. I think it came in going at a speed of let's say it was 50,000. It turned behind the sun and then left at 97,000 speed. So this meteor or whatever it was, this thing came in from out of our solar system, turned too sharp, and then accelerated more than anything beyond our belief of physics and science that could actually speed it up.
Wait, how is this connected though to Antarctica?
Because this whistleblower says that the secret space force, it was an old derelict ship and we landed on it and they took off on it. Secret space stuff.
This sounds too bonkers, man.
Yeah. And I've watched a lot of interviews with people talking about the secret space force because I'm so intrigued by it. But when they start talking, the whole thing is so bonkers that you just can't talk about it with anybody unless they've also seen it, because there's no frame of reference of how crazy it actually is.
I mean, it sounds like really, really sci-fi, it's just too much.
And so I just want to tie this up too. He also talked about on the back side of the moon, there are bases above and below ground on that, and they have tunnel boring machines. And recently, I think within the last year, they have found tunnels on the moon, and they're like, oh, we could probably use this to create bases with. So we have 100% found tunnels on the moon that we're like trying to figure out how to work with.
Well, you can't say 100%. This is the same guy who said that they got on a ship that went around the sun.
No. I'm tying in together other articles I've read about them finding tunnels on the moon. I'm saying like that's real.
Okay.
Whoa. I didn't know about that one. Wow, that's cool. But I get what you mean. Like our very limited. Hey, moose on the loose.
Good night, bud.
Good night, moose.
Good night, Moose.
Don't tickle me, dude.
Ah.
Good night, dude.
Man, you must be really ticklish. I don't think a kid's fingers could ever make
No,
me.
he's also really strong. Okay. Good night, dude.
I mean, it's just reason that there's tunnels on the moon, right? Unless you believe that it's hollow. Like
Right.
there's tunnels
It
in the
ties into
Earth,
Hollow.
so-
It ties into Hollow Earth a little bit, the whole Antarctica thing, because that's where that's where you go into the Hollow Earth, right? Or Bird said that he saw the hole. But I think that thing about Oumuamua, like our conception of what a spaceship is, like maybe we're looking at the wrong thing, And okay, can you guys smell ants? Like, right? Is your mind blown right now? Apparently it's a genetic thing, and some people can like smell ants. I never thought about that, right? And it's like, whoa. Well, like,
yeah, I cannot. And we've had ant infestation for the last
Yeah,
few weeks.
like
I
if
cannot
none of
smell
us if none of us had noses and then someone comes along and goes, oh, you smell like this, you smell like that, it would blow, like you wouldn't know, your brain couldn't even fucking process it, And in a similar way, this is like, oh, that's not a meteor, that's a spaceship, or we're looking at the ice, there's all this shit there, we're not looking at the right stuff though, like ice is water, and water seems to be the really important like building blocks for carbon-based life forms or whatever. I could understand that there's a big pyramid, or there's just a big crazy ass shit down there that's super important that we can't even begin to wrap our mind around.
Yeah, and I'm torn between the idea of, let's say, the pyramids. My belief of the pyramids is that they were built 12,000 11,000 years ago, and so
an energy
could
source.
there have yeah. And so could there have been pyramids built in Antarctica that they're uncovering now? And so they're like untouched, preserved. And could that be the case? Because, okay, when he talked about the glowing walls, I personally think that the way that the pyramids were built, if there were any hieroglyphics in them, they may have glowed. They may have lit up. I think these things, because of the energy going through them and the type of limestones used. But I've seen some hieroglyphs glow, and I was like, oh, it's fucking...
What do you mean you've seen some?
Maybe it was talked about and somebody did a recreation of it. But the idea that this type of wall could light up if it was electrically charged.
Yeah. Yeah, if you look at the way the magnetic field, well, you know how a solenoid, do you call them a solenoid? Like a electromagnetic coil, how that, do you remember how that diagram looks? It just goes around like you've got a tube in the middle and it goes around and around like that. That's the North Pole and the South Pole of the Earth, right? There's these concentrations of magnetic energy happening there. Some people say the cores are shifting around, but there's like a whole lot of science pressure and scientific phenomenon just happening at the top and the bottom. I don't know why it seems to be in Antarctica more than it is in the Arctic Circle for some reason. Maybe it's because there's land mass there, so there's potential for underground or
but also that the Arctic Circle version, you just have to be in a plane to observe it. You can't see that from any land. I do believe in the vortex energy of planets, and I think there was a weirdness there that like allows you to, if there were stargates or portals, there's so much energy at the North and South Pole. I think that that'd be the best place to have a portal.
Yeah, I think so. I like a wormhole, right? You punch through where the layer's most thin, or where the energy's more, or whatever, and you kind of slingshot and wormhole through that shit. I could well imagine something like that happening. Yeah, sure. I think we solved it, guys.
I know, right? And that's the crazy thing, is that like a lot of topics like this is just kind of like, well, here's some of the crazy things that people said. What do you think about what they said?
Yeah, this is probably on the tougher scale of like real life sci-fi genre of topics, I reckon, because it is like, yeah, here's 5 anecdotes. They're all fucking crazy and they don't work together, but let's sort of, dream about them.
It's so fantastical, right? That I just have a hard time believing it. Why would it be Alaska and Hawaii for one? I'm sure it could go other places, but like, why those 2 places?
Oh, right.
Well, there are. I mean, no, I agree, but there definitely are stories of Black Pyramid under the ice of Alaska, and
Well,
yeah,
it's volcanoes. Those are volcanic areas, right? There's the Ring of Fire, and Hawaii is just a massive fucking volcano that has people living on it. And that volcanoes have the caldera that takes you straight down into the middle of the fucking earth, right?
picture an ancient technologically advanced society or aliens, whatever. I'm going to stick to advanced humans having portal technology from treating the earth like an energy
A
source.
battery, yeah.
And we still haven't seen anything like that. But then when you look at quantum superposition, things that are just kind of outside the realm of what we even can perceive, things like that, we're like, there's proof of this and it's crazy. Could there be crazy things using energy of the earth that we don't know about? Yeah, we still haven't seen anything. And so I know that we can talk circles around this forever until we see something, but I do like this topic because there's like whistleblowers coming out. Could these whistleblowers, this is their job to provide disinformation to make us think crazier things are happening? Yeah, I believe that's a possibility too, because
but I don't think so, man, because it's not widespread. Like, I've never heard this. I guess maybe if you get into the rabbit hole of your life, they're saying things to throw you off, but like, that seems like a very, very minority. It's like a minority. Like,
yeah,
you're like you're a counterculture. So I was just thinking. Here's the thing: take out all the portal stuff, right? Because Jack, you made the good point about the volcanoes, and if you think about like the Earth as just like a system of tunnels filled with lava. You guys remember those toys that you couldn't hold on to because they would squirt out of your hands? It was basically just like a tube. It was like a tube, but it was filled with liquid. And when you would try and grab it, it would just keep moving forward. You could just kind of like move it forward forever.
Yeah.
You guys remember
There's
those?
like I call it the foreskin toy.
Oh,
Because
Sure.
oh, we don't have toys in New Zealand, bro. No, like
Nothing. Just horses that you carve out of wood.
it's like a torus, isn't it? It's like a torus that goes inside itself.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like a 3D donut.
Yes.
You squeeze it and it forces it out inside.
Yeah,
itself.
and it's constantly doing that, right? The plastic is moving and it's so it's I could think if I stretched, like, okay, so they had something that like maybe the lava, they used the lava, or I guess it would be magma at that point, to propel through the earth, like that kind of thing, right? And so like instead of using the word portal, I'm just trying to think of it literally. If they had a craft that could go through rivers of magma like that, then it kind of makes sense that they would end up in Hawaii and Alaska and stuff.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, because no matter what the energy or technology is, like, we don't know what it is yet, and but that doesn't mean that it's real. That's why I brought up and liked the parallel of the moon door on its submarine. It's like, well, the water's not going to come in. So is there a parallel version of that lies within a different dimension of space that would be like that moon door, but into the fourth dimension or whatever?
I think Moon Door is the Game of Thrones thing where the little boy throws you out the moon door. And this is called a moon pool. It's a moon. It's called a moon pool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Moon pool.
Yeah. But I get what you mean. It's there's and it would involve a whole lot more physics than we know. A complete, re-reckoning of physics, probably disintegration and reintegration or something like that.
Picture the lava lamps, and then put a propulsion system on the oil traveling through the water. I'm just pitching something where they figured out the exact opposite chemistry of lava, where it's like an inertia free sort of like way to travel. I don't know why I'm pitching this, but like I'm just trying to, because the idea of like folding space and time does nothing for me. I don't understand it. So for me, it's easier if I think about like, well, how did they travel through the earth that quickly? If you got rid of inertia because you had no inertia when you're traveling through magma and lava, you just squirt through like one of those toys.
The thing that I always come back to is, if you want to fly through our solar system as fast as you can, it's never going to be a straight line. the quickest way is going to be to slingshot around mass, and that's what we use to travel through space.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so there is a different version of that lies within the fact that we are at a big mass.
Oh, well, so Jack, you know a lot about Antarctica because you're kind of like right there, and you've got the tourism
bit.
center and stuff like that. What do you think? You think there's some alien stuff happening?
Oh, I think there's something there. I don't know what. There's talk about, it used to be on these 1,000-year-old maps. They had Antarctica there, or even some old, Maori voyages, and the ones who sailed across the Pacific, and that is basically.
I'm glad you brought that up.
That's basically
4,000 years
space
ago.
yeah, that's basically like space travel. Like you are like for days, you can't see anything. And those guys were so intelligent in ways that we can't understand. Like here's an example, right? So like the tohunga, they would leave Hawaii and sail to New Zealand, say, And they had one guy called a tohunga. He's like imagine he's like a shaman, and he is guiding them and a navigator. And he basically doesn't sleep for days and days, and he enters this trance, which modern science would say this is gamma wave brain, or this is beta, and he just is in a trance for days and days. And the controversial or sort of the meme thing is that he would just bend over and dip his testicles into the water, and like your testicle, and because he could sense like a 0.1 of a degree change in temperature, and just your testicles are the most sensitive part, and he could feel the currents and stuff and go, yeah, the stars are up there, my nuts are telling me this, go that way. And the way that they used to do it is they didn't go to this place where they were going. They would pull the destination to, like they already saw it in their mind's eye in this trance state, and they'd pull it towards them. And people would just laugh and go, oh, that's bullshit. But modern science is like, no, this is using this, and this is using this brain state, and this is using this constellation.
Ball symmetry.
And yeah, I know it's really memeable. But there are tales of oral tradition of Maori history of going to the big white wall and going like, fuck that, and there's nothing here, and then turning around and going all the way back. And
and they like 4,000 years ago, there's accounts of Polynesian people heading to the place where there were white rocks coming out of the water.
Yeah, and that's passed on to the oral tradition, and I mean they kind of got scared there, but also there's story. Some ghosts showed up one day, and people are like, What's that? Is that aliens as well?" So there's it's really funny. There's like as well as like the whole ancient, Celtic aliens thing. There is sort of a really kind of kooky ancient, Maori aliens thing as well. But I think just all of that science, all of that water, all of the things I was talking about, like something is going on down there. I don't know if it's like a portal, but I think that there's probably an energy source, or probably some kind of a liminal point through which is easy to access either a scientific breakthrough or another dimension or something like that.
For everyone across the board, regardless of what you believe in, there has to be weird stuff on Antarctica, right? Just because we don't even know.
I agree.
We've seen the bottom of the ocean, and it's crazy.
Just the way that the universe is polarized. And I do believe the universe is like vortex, sound, energy, cymatics, whatever. If you want to figure out something new, there's definitely energy in Antarctica. So it's cool that they're finding cosmic rays coming from Antarctica. So I'm like, well, it makes sense that this energy of this earth is like,
I mean,
yeah,
you know what else
polarized. Polarized is a good word, because it's the poles, it's polarities, And what do you see if you look at the ocean with polarized sunglasses? You can see right through it.
Is that true?
You can see fish if you wear polarized sunglasses.
Yeah.
I stay away from the ocean. I don't care about the oceon.
Okay.
You're on you're on that island where you have to deal with the ocean a lot. I don't care about the ocean.
We spear fish every day.
They don't give you polarized glasses on tours, which is the only thing we do out here.
I'd never even thought about what polarized. I know they're more expensive.
Yeah, polar, right? Though, but I mean, it means extremities. It means valency is another word, positive and negative and stuff.
I would say also just about all of this, it gives a little bit more credence just because nations want to be there, right? So much so that they've had to kind of divide it up, and it's kind of like if nothing's going on there, like why take the time to create that commission and divide it all up and stuff, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
and I don't know the
Or is that
story,
just the
but
colonialism?
No,
when-
as
when
a
o-
cynic, Wade, I think we
Yeah.
have to say that it's possible there's just a fuckload of oil down there. Everyone wants it, and nobody's allowed to say it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
will say that, like, I believe when Obama was president, there was this period of time when there were like 30 world leaders that went down to visit Antarctica. Like, there's nothing to visit there, but honestly, there was a list of a bunch of people that went down there to visit. I'm like, they're being debriefed on something. There's something important. There's no reason for these figureheads to go down there unless there's like some kind of change happening that, like, and you know what I mean? They have no importance really of like dealing with humanity, but maybe they do.
Who's they?
President, vice president.
You don't think that's all they do
can't-
is deal with humanity? What do you mean?
Well, I think that they're just kind of in the spotlight to take away from the corporations that are ruling them. You know, I mean, president still gets debriefed on things, but there's definitely like a lot of secret stuff above them still.
Sure. I just listen. All you had to say was they meet in Geneva every year. There's no reason for them to go to Antarctica. That's an insane trip to take. So, yeah, for them to go there, it's like, well, something must be. For them to go there, that's crazy. This is fun. It's fun to talk about. I don't know. Portals, God, I fucking wish, but like, give me access to the portal technology, please. I don't even need to go to space or anything. Just think about if you could just like walk through your closet and go to like your hometown. Like that'd be amazing.
So you've got to make yourself important. That's the goal of you and everyone listening. You got to make yourself important enough to be shown this technology. You know what I mean? Like, because if there's some
Well, that's
some
not gonna
people
happen.
saying
I'm not going to become a world leader.
but a teacher, a doctor, you know, whatever.
President of Antarctica,
Oh
Emperor
shit.
of Antarctica.
I
There's no
mean,
emperor.
okay. Well,
Go
Willie's
for
been
it.
talking about a cult for a very long time. Why don't we just start Willie's cult? He will not do. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of brainwashing material
Yep.
out there that you can figure out how to brainwash people. And then we'll go to Antarctica and we'll take it.
And it can make you
Because-
chill. Just be like, hey, chill out. Like chilling. Can you be chilly with Willie? Yo.
I
And
will
and
say-
we're better to chill than the coldest place.
Mhm.
My last closing crazy thing I'll bring up. Some people think that there is a reason why we need to create portals to different places around the universe ASAP, because either there's going to be like a huge invasion or the earth is going to like die from the sun real quick, and like we're going to need to evacuate the earth very quickly. So some people think that these are them setting up the evacuation without telling anybody, because like not everyone's invited.
Okay. Nice.
I just,
Titan AE.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have
yeah,
fu-
yeah.
have
I
have
know,
fun
I know.
flying around space. Who cares? Just die. Just die. Like what are we're such parasites, man. We got to ruin this planet and then go to a different planet and ruin that too. Like fuck us. The reason we don't have portals is because then you wouldn't have to live in LA. You can just take a
Yeah.
portal there. LA is like, no, we need taxes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They fucking charge me LA charges taxes to do business here. And I'm just a writer.
Gavin
Fuck you.
Newsom. Rah, Gavin Newsom.
Sure, for currently, yes. I don't know when this was established. Anyway, Jack, thank you for being here. And thank you for, it sounds like you're too smart to have been listening to this show for so long. So we appreciate that you do.
Thanks for having me on, guys. It's been really fun. It's been so much fun.
And we're going to continue this conversation. Who knows what we're going to talk about? But if you want access to that, go to patreon.com/RealLifeSciFi and tune into more sci-fi.
Everybody on Shrub Home Video, thanks for joining us. Real Life Sci-Fi. You're listening to Real Life Sci-Fi. That's my little sound bite that I give out to you guys. You can put that in all your advertorials.
Okay, Willie, you can clip that and we can use it.
Willy Bad Movies for me. If you follow Willy Bad Movies everywhere it's at, make fake movie posters for fun.
I ruined a computer, but then I bought another cheap computer, and I think that I've pirated all of the software that I need to continue editing Eric and I's reaction channel where we watch
Sweet.
romantic comedies, and that's called First Time. But you know, just I wouldn't even know how you would look out for it. But I'm just saying, like, GI throw is still a thing. It's still gonna happen, and so is first time. I promise you. I don't give up on stuff. It might take me 10 years to do it, but I'll do it. So look out for GI throw and first time. And I think that's gonna do it. Thanks everyone for listening. And remember, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
See ya.
Real life sci-fi.